กิดว่าทุกท่านพร้อมแล้วนะคะสำหรับเซสชันแรกของเราค่ะขอเรียนเชิญนะคะวิทยากรของเราได้เลยค่ะ Miss Eaindray Aung นะคะ Sustainability Creator ESG Group สศิลป์ School of Management จุฬาลงกรณ์ University ขอเสียงปรบมือต้อนรับด้วยค่ะ
Hello, Sawadee Krab. So today my name is Eaindray and I'm the moderator for this sections. So our session is Digital MRV Integrity and Gamified Engagement for Climate Adaptations organized by Sasin ESG, South Pole and Crew Map team. So I would like to invite Professor Nophea Sasaki, ESG Group, Sasin for opening remarks. Let's give a round of applause for Professor.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. So today's session, we want to show you how we can do the carbon monitoring using very advanced technologies that our team will be introducing after this. So in the past, we heard a lot about carbon accountings, about carbon greenwashing, about carbon scandal. So today we try to show you how that would happen and how we can stop it. And we have me from the academies, and we have Cats from South Pole, the real carbon developers, and then we have our CEO from Crew Maps, the technology providers. So each of us will be showing you how each of the steps from why we need digital MRV, digital monitoring, verification, and reporting systems to prevent carbon scandal from happening. Okay, so before we start, on your table, you see a piece of paper, so that we want you to read through it and then think about it. We will have a Kahoot game where you get some prize. But to understand those games, we want you to go through that papers a bit. But again, you don't need to discuss within the team. Just try to go and search online if needed, and then listen to us. And after that, you will have a chance to ask questions to clarify what you understand, any point that you want to raise. And this kind of question to get you thinking, okay, to get you thinking. So like carbon accuracy, so the first question is about when you look at the map, you see different land categories, so that have different carbon stocks, and where you calculate carbon credit from that. That's the starting points. And the third question is more about, because when you talk about mapping, about satellite imagery, about carbon project, we don't talk about few hectare of land. We talk about 1,000 or even million hectare of land. So that where any miscalculation would create these kind of problems. So today we want to make sure that how we can stop that from happening. Okay, so I think so everyone start to read on that. Sorry. So I want you to read this and then just try to understand this very quietly. Do ChatGPT, do search online to understand what there. And then our speaker will confirm what is in this one. Okay? So for that, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to discussing with you. So,
Thank you, Professor, for the opening remarks, and I hope everyone is excited by now and busy with the map exercise. So next, I would like to invite Ms. Kat for climate adaptation policy context for your presentations.
Thank you very much, Andre. I think it is my pleasure to be here that I have been assigned to talk about this topic. So we will walk you through how the importance of the climate adaptation and also the ecosystem restoration and digital MRV. I think this is the topic that everyone should be aware of, because eventually we need to work with the technology, and how are we going to ensure that whatever activity we did, it will create the positive impact to everyone. So these are the content that I would like to present it to you from how we consider the climate adaptation toward to the how are we going to consider the digital MRV and what would be the long-term success and the trust that we have to see in the future. Just give you a bit context on the global level. I think everyone is aware of the Paris agreements or of the climate change term, especially right now the UN climate conference is happening every year. Everyone is talking about how are we going to fight for the climate change, how are we going to provide the impact to this topic. So you will see that at the COP26 or the conference of the party that happened at the 26th already talk about how are we going to halt and reverse the forest loss by 2030. Because doing this, it will link to the restoration to the climate and also the biodiversity goal. Because of this, we will not just only talk about how are we going to develop the mitigation activity, but how are we going to introduce the adaptation? How are we going to deal with the climate change? You see that there will be a lot of the natural disaster and event that is happening now. For example, I think everyone would be aware of the flooding, the severe monsoon that is happening right now in our Asia Pacific region. Then to do this, how to find the right solution, right mechanism, right innovative. This is very important. So that's why at COP29, so UNFCCC come up with the operational of the Article 6.4 or Paris Agreement crediting mechanism. My apology, we have a lot of the abbreviation here. But then with this rule, we'll give you the guidance how to conduct the climate mitigation project. How do you consider sustainable development goal? And not just only that, how are you going to ensure that you can develop the project with the integrity, transparency. But all of this, of course, we need to have the finance to support the project. That is the reason why that we need to find a way how to allocate the carbon finance to develop this activity. But then through that, you will see that with adaptation, it requires us to understand how are we going to restore our ecosystem. Because ecosystem restoration is still play a very important role. How are we going to adapt with this world? Now we only have one world. We don't know that we can move ourselves to the new world yet. Paper-based. Human look at into the number from the monitoring equipment, then you write it down to the paper. Or some monitoring equipment would be able to track the information, collect the data online, and would be able to present it to you quickly. But then not everyone can access to that kind of like technology. That is the reason why we need to find a way to come up where everyone would be able to access to such a technology. Now it comes to the periodic verification. Because to evaluate your performance, how good you are, you need to do it in the sum of the period of time, and you would be able to show the impact. The impact will link to the permanent. If you cannot show the permanent, meaning that the project would not last that long, then 1 year or 2 years, it means nothing. But then to tackle down this climate change event, we need to have a effort for everyone, and we need to have a long-term permanent. That is the reason why that we want to look at this. And all of the information that we provided here, if you want to present the impact in the form of the carbon project, usually when they develop carbon project, there will be only one unit that we can present, which is the ton CO2 per year. Then to measure that depends on the project developer. How are you going to consider the project type? How are you going to monetize the project? Then if you want to consider based on the compliance market, of course you can consider Article 6.4. If you want to consider the voluntary carbon market, then you can consider gold standard or WERA or other type of the gold standard that you can consider. So that's why we want to walk you through that because we want to present the impact in the form of ton CO2. Then of course we follow the requirement of the carbon standard. Every standard will give you the guideline, the requirement, the methodology, how are you going to measure? Because all of this has to be done based on scientific approach. So to do that, then you have to evaluate yourself. You have to conduct MRV because as of now, not everyone can access to the proper technology, right? Then you need to come up with whatever approach that you can consider. You need to present what would be the monitoring equipment that you have to use. What would be the QA/QC procedure that you can consider for your projects in the future? If we would be able to introduce a digital MRV, of course, everyone can access to the data quickly. Then you would be able to prove transparency, building trust to the relevant stakeholder. And then you can save a lot of cost. So where our colleague will be present more information about this topic. Now, in conclusion, so this is the benefit why you have to consider the digital MRV now, of course, because if we would be able to build the MRV, we can build trust, we can attract a lot of the relevant stakeholder, for example, investor, regulator, and also the community where you have to work with, and then you can persuade them. Because you cannot do it alone, even if you are the project owner. You need to have a friends, engage with those group of people. Now it comes to the long-term resilience because this is going to be relevant to the permanent. We don't want to introduce or develop something that you can see the short-term outcome. But this is about the long-term impact. This is about how we fight for climate change. How are we going to slow down the global warming? So that's why this is something that we have to do it together. And you will see that so many initiatives will already consider the net zero target, where the net zero target we already aim at 2050. From now on to 2050, if you ask me, it's not that long. It will come. But how are we going to do this together? So that is the reason why that we need to set up the resilience strategy. But as of now, through the Paris Agreement, the initiative already guide you to focus how are you going to reach this target by the end of 2030. Because all of this, you will see the benefit by having the digital MRV. Of course, you can reduce the risk and also unlock the finance because the investor and also the relevant stakeholder who want to get involved want to engage with you because you build trust, you bring the transparency. Yes, I think that is my presentation. I hope it benefit to everyone. Then I would ask Dr. Nophea and also Eaindray to give the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your very comprehensive and insightful about DMRV and the carbon standards. So for next, I would like to invite Professor Nophea Sasaki for your technologies, spotlight, and DMRV demonstrations. So let's give a big hand to Professor Nophea Sasaki.
Yeah, again, so coming back to me. So before we started, I want you to scan this. And then you can play around with it. Okay, so this is one of the application that we can use to monitor carbon in the real times. Okay, so we have a company that are doing real-time monitoring with different set of data streams, and we can use different purpose. And then our college will present that after this. So this is just only one application. On that, you will see different flags. Some of you might know that, some of you might not know it, but that's fine. We will have a question and answer session that you can ask us for that. And I hope it's working. Okay, so you're done with that. So let me go quickly with this. Okay, so what we talked earlier, so until today, we talked about MRV. So that is we call conventional monitoring systems. And now, because of scandal, greenwashings, and because of new requirement by the COP29, now we are moving to one more D, which is digital MRV. So again, digital MRV give you an idea on a more transparency basis where you can check how it is calculated but you can still do something between it. So that's why we also introduce one more D. So D here it means decentralized digital MRV. So which means you cannot manipulate the data. So we will track all the data along the way from the sensor, from the measurement until carbon credit. Okay? And that's how it works. I think, I talked a bit earlier. So this one I will give the floor to our colleague to talk more. So what you can see with the new technologies, we can capture all stream of data and then we use AI to implement it. So based on our algorithm that match with carbon standard, we can understand the behavior, the flux of your target area. For example, in your paper sheet, you have the 4 categories of land, right? Forest, wetland, agroforestry, and agriculture. So each of the land will give a different signal like this. And until now, you cannot check this. And now with the crew map technology, you can check, you can know where it's coming from, and you can know whether the data exists or not. Okay, the flag you can see like this. An example of how you can do with the MRV system. Okay, so with this one, we hope that we can minimize this carbon scandal and that will lead to greenwashing in the future. Okay, so and what we did is so far so this is the basic calculation of carbon credit. So it's if you are not familiar with it, we can ask question more. So first of all, you need to calculate what we call emission factors. So that is where a lot of miscalculation happens. And under the conventional way of calculation, we do it only one a year or once every 5 years. So that where things happen. But with we can do this every 15 minutes, depending on how much accuracy you want to measure it. Okay? And then the second thing we need to calculate what we call it activity data. So this is basically based on satellite imagery, drones, and then we use AI to calculate different signals. So what the crew map did, our technology did was we create what we call it proof of measurement. So we combine this together, we use AI to ensure that the accuracy is within acceptable range, and then we can apply that to calculate the carbon credit, carbon storage, different landscape, different projects. And then we also working on this part to introduce the other one, the MRV, to ensure that all this data cannot be manipulated along the way. Okay? And that you already do this. I hope you have seen something on this. So what is important here is only one application of the you have your own carbon emissions. You want to understand whether you within your own company. Okay? So and with this real time you can see, let's say assuming that you plant the trees and then you have 23 or 20 hectares of land, and you can understand whether this land can offset your emission or not. Okay, if not, you need to look for outside, maybe to buy from others. And this is the actual data. That if you look at the website, you see, so this is the data coming every 15 minutes. And if you look at the sensor, so this each of the sensors sends a signal to us. And you can see up and down like this. The thing is, the trees, when they don't have sunlight, they don't absorb CO2. So which means there are CO2 coming up. Okay, so let's say at night, when there's a cloudy condition, the plant will release more. So what you see here is plant absorb more. So this is usually between 9 a.m. until 3 a.m. that plant absorb more. Okay, and this one you can check every and yeah, you can go and click every button here. I think all of them are working. And if you want to understand the terms, what is inside there, you can click on it, and then you can see what is in there. And we also introduced this new idea. So this one, the idea, we call it digital twins. So digital twin is we try to get data from every single point on Earth in the real time and not real times to calculate it. And in a very transparent way. So you can even do that calculation with 1 point data point or we have many data points, you can calculate it. And we can calculate on the go. And then when you have all the data, so this is where you can customize it for different client needs. You can go for, let's say if you need for ESG, go for ESG, or you want to do for carbon accounting, you go for carbon accounting. So you want to track for restoration, you can do that. Okay, so this requires some powerful calculation, but with the current technology, current data, I think it's not a problem anymore. And yeah, so I think this is what Kat already said earlier. The more data, better data you have, the more transparent you have, you can avoid risk, and then you also comply with different carbon standards and even the Paris Agreement. And then based on that, you can also link to financial condition. There are some, a lot of what we call sustainability linked bond. When your data is very transparent, you are eligible for those kind of bonds. And that's where you can also tap into different kind of market. And okay, so again, coming back to your exercise, try to read it one more time before we start the next game. But one more short session before we allow you to play around with the Kahoot game. So what we are going to do next is our group map technology will present in more details. And after that, you have a Q&A question along with your answering there. You can clarify us. Okay, we are happy to answer that. And just before we finish the session, 10 minutes, we will start working on testing you. And I think we have some prize, wonderful prize for you. Okay, so I give it back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your very insightful presentations. And for next, I would like to invite Konpolawa, sorry, CEO of, co-founder of CrewMap.
Which one is it? Left?
So he will show how CrewMap works, and then the live dashboard show.
It's this one, right? Okay, so I'm Om, the co-founder of CrewMap. So I'll be talking briefly about how CrewMap works. Okay, so we created a agriculture technology solution on Digital MRV to solve. We are part of a small puzzle for the problem in the carbon market. So what we use is, I think you already know about drones and satellite to map out the land area of the carbon project. But what makes us special is we use sensor to calculate the ground truth data. So with that sensor, we use algorithm to convert the raw data into relevant data such as kilogram CO2 per area, per minute, or per hour. So we use the digital twin for that, which is stored in the blockchain. So we divide this into 3 different simple process, which is first is data collecting with the sensor and satellite imagery. We use forest inventory in the minimal scale to train our data, which then after that, the data will be stored on cloud, transmitted by gateway, similar to how the Wi-Fi box work. And after that, we use the data for reporting, whether it's going to be for ESG reporting or for carbon project, like what South Pole would be using for drafting their project design document for carbon project. So here's our back end. What our dashboard will show is we have first the live CO2 flux from all the sensor. And using our algorithm, we can calculate all 5 pools of carbon, which is the above ground, below ground, litter, dead wood, and soil carbon. And in here you can see the site map and also the detail of all the sensors. What they show is the temperature, the humidity, and the raw data, which is piece per million. And we have the basic site information on, so this one is we monitoring live at Sasin. So we have the information on how big the land area is in Sasin for only trees, and we have the emission level as well calculated from the electricity use, which can then be compared with the sequestration in Sasin, and then you can calculate the net offsetting amount. Okay, so I'll pass the floor to Kale. If you have any more questions regarding crew map, feel free to ask me after.
Thank you very much, Miss. Thank you very much, for your dashboard sharing and then presentation. So I think now I understand that a lot of information in a very short time, but I thank you for your very patience and then listening and pay attention. So now is the time for activities. I hope everyone is excited. So I would like to invite Professor Nophea for map activities and a big interactive Q&A sections. So.
Yeah, okay, so what we are going to do now, you have read that already, and you have listened to us. So one of the things you have like 10 minutes to clarify questions, because we don't have much time left. So what you want to know more from us, okay, and any questions that you want to ask, now you can feel free to ask. Do we explain correctly? Okay for that? What you have now is to clarify, to confirm what you have listened to us now. And then after you try to understand this, we will show you the Kahoot game, which asking you similar questions, but to clarify, to confirm whether you understand what we are saying in the way we supposed to say or not. Okay? And now you can ask questions to us if you have any. For this one, everyone is okay with us? So okay, in the reality, what I can say, in the reality, there are different kind of land category in your project size. So first of all, you need to calculate different category of lands in order to calculate the carbon stock, what we call baseline calculations. Only that you can compare when after implementing the project, you will get carbon credit or not. So that the very first of all, you calculate this kind of land category, assessing what we call land eligibilities. Not every land is eligible for carbon credits. Okay, so that's where we need to do this kind of assessment. Okay, and then if you look at the questions, what if you miscalculate the boundary of the forest area? So let's say instead of having 100 hectares of land under forest, you have 200 hectares of land. And then now instead of taking 100 multiplied by carbon stock, now you take 200 multiplied by carbon stock. So that 100 is overstating. So if you sell that carbon credits, you are part of the scandal. If somebody bought it and say, I offset my emission from that location, those person become a greenwasher. So that's why understanding this is most important in carbon projects. So then what technology support you to do this? Usually we use satellite imagery to calculate this. And based on that, we have simple algorithm or AI to differentiate between land category according to the guideline. And then now you got the land category. Next question is, how do you get carbon stock? So that where we have this technology to capture carbon stock using sensor. In the past, we measure tree individually and calculate it, let's say, we measure usually 3 to 4 to 5% of the whole area. Okay, in order to get carbon stock per land category. Now with the technology, you can measure the whole area and at time. So that's why digital MRV. But those kind of measurements it can still be manipulated. So that's why we add one more layers, the decentralized digital MRV. So which means nobody can manipulate. If you manipulate it, everyone can see because it's a blockchain technology. We know who did. We don't know who did it, but we know when it was done, when it was changed. Everyone can see it. So digital MRV, only person who developed it can see it. Okay? Any question? Any? Okay. Yeah. So if we have how many minutes more left?
48.
Okay, we have about 10 minutes left. If no questions, this one you can take home and think about it. So I will pass the floor to moderator to move to the next session, which is the gamifications to clarify what you have learned or you have understood. But it's fine, it's just going to be fun. Okay, so no question? We have real Kava developer here. We have scientists here. And we have CEO from the company here. And no question, right? No question there. Okay, then I think because of the timings, I give the floor back to Kale to continue the work.
Yes, for next sessions, I would like to invite myself for organizing the Kahoot game. I believe everyone is familiar with the Kahoot game quiz. So it's fun. So you can choose any answers, but based on the professor and Miss Kat's presentation. So I hope everyone is ready to scan the QR code to join the game. So okay, I'm gonna start it. Everyone can join. This QR code you can scan. Oh. Okay, they start joining. I will start once everyone is joining after that. Okay, everyone is already in. Anybody left? No? Okay, so are you guys ready? Okay, I will start the quiz. So you will see the question here, and then you can select on your phone. Okay, I will go to next. Okay, so we will get the higher scores at the end of the all quizzes. So keep excited. So next question. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, ready for next question? And there we go. This is multiple selections. Hints. You can select more than one answer. Okay, let's see who is. Oh, aim. Okay. So let's go to the next question. There is only one answer. Okay. Oh, Amy stay at the top. Okay. Let's go to next question. Okay, let's see. Oh, Luri. Okay, let's go to the next question. Keep it up. We're almost there. Okay. Ready to see? Okay. Still almost. This is 7 questions and we have only one last question after that. You know who is he? I don't know him. Oh, so now we go to the last questions. Ready? Stay have a chance. Everyone stay have a chance, no worry. Last question, there we go. Do you know who is he? We have a special gift for that. If you know who is he. So, quiz done, and now the time for who is the winner. Okay, ready? Everyone ready? Okay, let's go. Okay, this is the third. Oh, can do. Oh, come boss, congratulations. Who is the first one? Luri, oh. Congratulations, everyone. Everyone, congratulations. So I would like to invite 3 of you to come forward. We have a special gift, and I would like to invite Professor and Miss Kat together to. So I would like to invite first Miss Drew to receive the gift. Can be any of them. It's fine. This is a third prize. Can you wait? Wait. Yes. Okay, next I would like to invite Con Boss to receive the gift. This is okay. One more. So the first prize, I would like to invite Yuri. Gift. Yes. So, for last but not least, I would like to invite Miss Kat for closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Andre, and also the Dr. Nophea and the organizer here. I hope everyone enjoy our session. I know that it seemed to be very complex and very technical, but we try to simplify it. But before the end of the session, I would like to leave the 3 things for you that you may consider, because when we talk about the digital MRV, first of all, we try to simplify it because we have to ensure that it's friendly user for everyone. And the second thing is about it has to be manageable, because this is something that if you would be able to control the data quality, then you can build trust and then you can attract more people who can get involved with your project. And the last thing, we cannot leave the fundamental, because we need to ensure that we keep everything according to the scientific based approach, and we have to prove that this is real and this is the real impact that we can develop this. So hopefully you enjoy our session and very much look forward to seeing everyone in the next session in the future. And thank you so much for joining us.